Welcome back. We start off this segment on the world of commodities. Nigeria's corn output for the 2017-2018 season is expected to decline by as much as 750,000 metric tons due to the impact of pests and increased imports. Africa's most populous country is estimated to produce 10 million tons of corn in the current season, 7% less than 10.75 million tons in the 2016-2017 season. In the meantime, global wheat prices is set to have fallen by 0.89%. Let's bring in Pamela Bassett-Duke, one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company, to put all of these together for us. Good afternoon, Pamela. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Nigeria, the largest corn producer in Africa, is projected to produce about 10 million tons. That's in 2017-2018, a 7% decline, and that's no thanks to pests and imports. Now, what will this mean? Does that mean Nigeria will have to import more?
Yeah, definitely. So, although Nigeria is a major producer of corn in Africa, it's not a producer in the global space. So what this means is that whatever affects Nigeria, or there's a shock in Nigeria's production of corn, it's going to have little or no effect on global corn prices. So what we should focus more on what's going to happen, or what this pest attack means for Nigeria. So in the sense that Nigeria's diversification plan, well, we know that Nigeria is an oil-dependent economy, and we're trying hard to move from that to non-oil. So it's going to be largely affected, and we're going to see decline in corn yield, which will mean that Nigeria will need to even import more of these commodities, because we're also demand for the commodities in Nigeria is also on the rise yearly. So we're going to see the self-sufficiency plan, which the government is trying to implement. We're going to see a disruption in that, and in addition, these pest attacks that are happening in Nigeria at the moment are going to displace farmers, because farmers will not want to produce corn in the fear that they will not make as much money in the year. And then we've also seen that imported corn is even cheaper than the locally produced corn. So that's what we're seeing. All this is playing into Nigeria having to import more corn in the short run. So we're going to see that the government will have to step in, so to say, to address this issue. So, but in the meantime, yes, we're going to see an increase in corn importation.
Right. Still on agricultural commodities, global wheat prices fell by 0.89% and are currently trading at $4.47 per bushel. What is responsible for this decline?
Well, the decline in wheat prices is majorly due to ample global supply, so from major producing countries such as the US and Canada. And this is surprising because there are concerns of dry weather conditions in this area, which is supposed to reduce the yields of this crop, actually. But then we're seeing a decline in wheat prices. But so what this means basically is that there's a supply outweighs the demand for wheat, and surprisingly, these major producing countries are also major consumers. So that's what is happening in the wheat market. With the decline in prices majorly due to ample global supply.
Now, what effect has this price movement had on the performance of companies that use this commodity?
Yes, so major users of this commodity, that's wheat, are the FMCG companies, and they're majorly used as raw materials for the production of their products, such as flour, semolina, wheat meal, and noodles. And then some have even diversified into livestock feeds, using wheat for livestock feeds. So we've seen from recently released results, we've seen some FMCG companies such as Honeywell and Flour Mill record stellar performance and stellar results compared to that of last year. Because this year, 2017, we saw that there was improved macroeconomic conditions all around in the country. We had a positive GDP growth of 1.4%, and in Q3, we've seen high PMIs above expansionary levels. We've also seen increased demand for the commodities of these FMCG companies. Well, compared to 2016, where we're in a negative growth of minus 1.73, and then we also were in a recession. So it's really been a big improvement for this FMCG companies. And then all around, we've seen an increase in their revenue, we've seen an increase in their profit before tax, and it's majorly due to a decline in raw material costs, as they've been able to manage their costs efficiently. And this is where the decline in wheat prices come in. It helps the companies reduce their cost of production. So we've seen a massive improvement in their profit before tax. Not only that, furthermore, we've seen an improvement in their free cash flow. Very impressive. We've seen their PE ratios very impressive as well. And then we've seen an increase year to date in their share prices. At now we know Honeywell is up by 156.76% year to date. So all this has really been a massive improvement. Although the decline in raw material costs, as wheat prices, is a significant reason for the improvement, is not the only reason. So there are other reasons too.
All right, just before I let you go, Pamela, Nigeria spends approximately $1.5 billion on wheat imports. Is Nigeria now prepared to start producing wheat in commercial quantity to perhaps to reduce its growing dependence on imported wheat?
So wheat farming has been the most complicated area of Nigeria's agriculture for the last decade, because we have, due to high temperatures that's not suitable for the production of this commodity, which is wheat. So, for example, with the major commodity wheat is hard winter red wheat, and this type of wheat is used mainly for bread and for all-purpose flour, and is only grown in the U.S. regions and Canada. So those are the cold regions, but that's not we don't have that kind of temperature in Nigeria, which is a major issue. So as a result, we've had to rely on importation of wheat from these countries. In fact, we're producing approximately 4 million. We're importing approximately 4 million metric tons of wheat annually, and then there's a growing demand as well, because as much as we're a top producer in Africa, we're also a top consumer as well. And then if Nigeria has made some efforts to be sufficient in wheat production, but unfortunately in sub-Saharan Africa, we are least sufficient for production of wheat as at now. And then so we've seen governments try to improve this by banning wheat, ban wheat to aid self-sufficiency and aid economic growth. But for now, Nigeria is not. I don't think Nigeria is prepared to start producing it in a large country.
Thank you very much for your time, Pamela. Pamela Bassey-Duke is one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company here in Lagos. And on that note, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for being part of it. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwabu.